Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode, another conversation of Rambling Through Everyday Life with Fran and Angela. This week's episode, I feel like we are talking more spiritual, deeper things, just some really rich things for you to consider, especially in this Easter season. So you never know what we're going to ramble about, but this week was a little more serious rambling, and that is never a bad thing. So we hope you enjoy the conversation, enjoy the show. We appreciate you so much.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show.
You sound like Delilah.
Delilah. Listen, I've run across, somehow stumbled upon some TikToks of Delilah.
No way.
Yes, because I don't even know how, but her voice is so distinct. Mm-hmm. It is a nighttime radio voice. It's going to be okay, Angela.
We'll have to put Delilah in stories for people that are like, who are y'all talking about?
Who the heck is Delilah? Anyway, okay. Okay, here we are.
It's March. The days are longer. We have sunshine. We have baseball again,
yes.
Fran.
Spring training. We're watching spring training in our house. I love it so much.
Everything just feels lighter and happier because it's March. Because it is.
Green grass trying to peek through, and
yes,
all the things are trying to bloom. So.
All the things on the farm, all the ducks are going crazy, just running around. And
are they just because they're happy, or is there something happening?
Just because things are happening. They're either the men are fighting over the women, or the women are trying to run away from the men, or there's just a whole lot of chaos and commotion on the farm.
Okay. Is wedding season busy?
Mm-hmm. We are booked year round, but we do take off the month of February. We call it our sanity break. Not that doesn't mean disrespect to brides, but
right. No, you've got
y'all don't make us insane. Our schedule makes us insane. We love our brides.
Right.
Yes. So starting in the first weekend of March, weddings all year.
I'll pick back up all
Spring
over again.
Weddings.
Go Carl. Go team everybody.
I do have a funny story, speaking of the barn.
Okay.
Denmark Elementary School is across the street. That's where Atlas is in pre-K. We are their partner in education. We love them so much. They have the best principal. Just love lots of teacher friends there. They're fabulous. So our barn is their place of safety for evacuation purposes.
Oh.
So if they have a fire, if they have any kind of weird anything. So one day last year, Carl sends me this video, and I'm like, what is happening? But all I could see, he was standing in the driveway of the barn, and it just like he was being ambushed by this massive parade of children carrying their American flag and their sheriffs with the blue lights out in the road with no context. I was like, what is going on today? It was a random weekday. So the sheriff's deputy stopped traffic on both sides of the highway to let the children march from the school down the road up our driveway inside the barn. And this is elementary. This is preschool all the way to 5th grade. And they're, anyway, so just so much fun. So he said they're doing their evacuation drill, and they make it fun so the kids aren't scared. They have a parade is what they call it. So the principal's a good friend of mine, and she sent me an email last week, and I had to read it twice because I thought, what? But she said, Dear Miss Snyder, we attempted our evacuation drill to the barn last week until we heard random gunshots, and we had to retreat and come back to the school. Please let me know if there's a better day, and we'll try again next week. And I thought, what in the world? Well, then I realized the day that they came was the day that my husband had friends on the farm rabbit hunting with him. So I said, Dear Dr. Quinn, I'm so sorry. Those random gunshots were my husband and his buddies rabbit hunting. I apologize for any danger or inconvenience. That was
what? Yeah, for real. And again,
we were not shooting at anyone, just the rabbits.
Again, I need everybody. This just kills me every time. Who else? Y'all have people in your life that's an email or a text?
Is this a conversation for anybody else?
Never, ever, ever. You do not realize, you're living an abnormal life.
I know, and I love it. I grew up in the city. This is so weird and so wonderful.
What do you do with a rabbit once you kill it? Is it what's happening here?
I don't, but they eat them.
They do?
Oh yeah.
Oh God, that just gave me chills up and down my spine. Okay.
Cole had a basketball game. They were in the church league championship game the night of the rabbit hunt, And one of them almost said, "Did you bring a rabbit foot for good luck?"
I mean, for real.
He said, "I should have brought the whole rabbit the way we played."
I have so many questions, but I'm not going to go here in the podcast because people would be grossed out. But I'm just like, okay, well, that's just fantastic.
It's a whole thing. And I do need to mention my sweatshirt. I'm totally changing gears, but did you see what I'm wearing? I bought this for myself.
Oh, I'm so glad that you did because I didn't comment on it because we were talking about something else when we walked in. But I have seen so many like sweatshirts or T-shirts that talk about people that are overthinkers. And I was like, I hope Angela has one of those because y'all know I'm a terrible gift giver. So I'm not going to order that. Yeah. Can you see it? If you're watching on YouTube, it says, pray before you overthink. What does that say? I can't read it. I can't. Don't worry about anything. Oh, but instead pray about everything. Nowhere in Scripture does it say overthink.
Overthink this and be your own savior is nowhere in Scripture. But on the sleeve, so literally when I look down at my wrist, I see this Philippians 4:6 reminder and all across it multiple times because I need multiple reminders.
Yeah.
Pray before you overthink. I knew when I ordered it, I thought Fran will be so proud of me.
I am so proud of you.
It's the closest thing I have right now to a tattoo, but I should wear this shirt every single day. So, buying this made me think, oh, it's fun colors. We're ready for spring happies, which reminded me of a giveaway that we've talked about that we're finally going to do next week.
Yeah,
spring break week.
Remember Grace Valentine, everybody?
Oh,
that's kind of where this started.
Yeah,
well,
so
not kind of, it is.
We're going to talk about the Graces because there's multiple Graces I'm about to reference in this conversation. We're going to start with Grace Valentine. If you have not, for any reason, heard that episode, what a sweet conversation. She is a little firecracker.
She sure is.
We love her. So Grace Valentine came and we gave her a little happy gift from Hello Grace, which is Annika Brooks' little boutique.
And
gift shop.
Annika is how old?
Annika is 21, I believe. I don't think she's 22 yet. She might be.
She's a young person, to say the least.
Young and hip and all the things. Do we say hip? What do we say? Young and
I don't know.
Young and young.
But she's got her own business.
She is so fabulous. Annika has not graduated yet. She graduates from Union soon, but she is still in college and has already launched her own business. Bravo, Annika. I'm so proud of her. She's getting married in June at Twin Oaks at one of our venues.
Love it.
My daughter's her maid of honor. I will cry. I will cry. All of their friends, like, these are my girls.
Yeah,
these are
so
our
sweet.
people. But Annika, so proud of her. So Annika put together the perfect little gift for Grace Valentine, and Grace loved it. And that inspired us to have a conversation with Annika to say, Annika, let us know what we can help our mamas who are listening. If you have older girls, do not think for 1 minute that your 21-year-old does not want an Easter basket, because they do.
Yeah.
My kids get so excited over Valentine's and Easter and any excuse to give them candy or anything fun. They love it. So Annika is going to help us with some ideas. So what we put in those baskets is not lame.
That's right.
There is nothing better than giving your kids something and their faces light up and they're really excited about it.
I love it.
Without spending too much money too. They're fun little happies. So be on the lookout for that next week. Annika is going to make a little video and we're going to give away some stuff.
Yeah. And if you're local, just support her.
Shop Hello Grace.
Yes, a young, small business entrepreneur. I think that's absolutely fantastic.
Yes. And one of the things that Grace Valentine said that I have applied that I thought, there's multiple things. She's so wise to be so young. But I loved it when she said that when she's in her personal Bible study time and she reads something that resonates, she doesn't teach on that for 30 days.
Right.
How awesome was that? Because it's so tempting for me to just grab a pen and go, oh, so-and-so needs that. I need to hand that off to this person or that person or whatever, when I've just brushed past it and I need to sit in it for a while.
Beth Moore taught that too years ago, that she doesn't teach anything that she's still in the middle of, that it's going to have to be, even for her, a lot of time has gone by. So that she has greater perspective. And I think there's a difference in, an encouraging word.
Yeah.
I'm going to give that to you. But maybe the bigger, deeper, richer content that is personal to me that I want to share with a group or, whatever. that just to be a little bit more careful there. And I think too, like in some ways we think, oh my God, we get excited and this is so great and I want to share it with you. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. And that's a good distinction, because there are times that I'm literally sitting in my prayer time going, I need to text, as I'm praying for this person, I will also text them a verse. And that there's not anything wrong with that.
Right.
But just trying to be the expert on it 5 minutes later.
That's right.
Let's sit in it a minute and let the Lord teach us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that was good. And then the other Grace that I want to mention is Grace White.
Yes.
And I love that her Instagram name is Grace Under Fire. I love that TV show. Do you remember watching Grace Under Fire?
Yeah, yeah.
What? That had to have been the 90s.
Oh, it had to have been. Everything. Every great TV show was in the 90s. Yeah.
And Grace's cute little Instagram says journalist and passionate storyteller. She is precious. She is precious. Tell us about her and what we're doing with her that's so much fun.
We might share it with y'all. She is,
depending on how it goes.
She played softball here, and that's how I got to know her, because she was just the same age as one of my kids. But anyway, she's continued to serve the athletic department, and she does all kinds of stuff. But you and I are recording a how well do you know one another type video. She's been doing this series with athletes, and oh my gosh, she asked us. I mean, I felt at first I was like, why are you asking us? But she also wants to write an article about us regarding the podcast. But we're doing this video, and I thought, oh my God, like, why do you want us? We're not players. We're not coaches, but
we're the odd couple.
We're the odd couple, but because of our role within FCA and volleyball and just caring deeply about student athletes, she asked us to do it. So I don't know. I'm scared, because if she asks us things that, like, what is Angela's favorite color? I'm going to be like, I ain't got no clue.
Well, I told you already, I don't care about being right. I just want us to win. So if we have to cheat, we might cheat, Fran. Did I just say that on public record?
We'll share that with y'all whenever that is released. Yeah.
But it's so cute. Kristen, our volleyball coach, and her husband, Sean, who's a girls basketball coach, like, they had a video.
Yeah.
They're just so fun and
funny.
Precious.
Yeah.
And anything these younger people are doing.
Oh, for sure.
They're just incredible.
And and also too, like, we don't care. And none of the videos they don't care either, but we don't care to be stupid and silly and make fun of ourselves. It's fine.
But we thrive in that environment.
I'm excellent at it.
We are Lucy.
Let me embarrass myself.
And Ethel. Here we go. Okay, so when this episode airs, you will be somewhere far, far away.
Not super far away.
Not super far.
Yeah.
Farther than here.
Yeah, farther than here. Yes, me and Amy Eads, she also works here at Union. We are leading a go trip, a mission trip. We will be on the trip when this airs to Clarkston, Georgia. And I definitely will come back and give you all a brief summary about it. But we will be serving a population just outside of Atlanta, a lot of refugees, a lot of different cultures, different religions. So that's going to be exciting to experience that with students, but you're getting to do it within the United States. You're not going to those countries. So this is a young group. Well, not all of them, but as a whole, they're young in age, and they haven't experienced anything like this before. And we've been training. We have training every Tuesday night. And I'm so glad that we've done that and we've had that experience with them. And just in like a lot of different places where I'm having conversations with students. So this is coming from lots of different conversations, because now that I've gone through this kind of training and consideration, and me myself I've experienced too, it's just made me very aware of what do we believe, and then how do we speak about it when it comes to our faith, when it comes to our relationship with the Lord. Are we able to talk about it in such a way that if you are with an unbeliever and they start asking you questions, and just deeply considering, do we even know how to answer it? And then also answer it in such a way that it doesn't sound so churchy and scripted that you don't know what you're talking about. And, just that whole Christianese, just Christian vocabulary that you've heard it, but you don't know how to talk about it in a way that an unbeliever would be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Thank you. So I think it's through a variety of conversations with people, this whole season of preparation has made me really aware of just challenging all of us to have conversations. Are you having conversations with people about your journey with the Lord? That can happen in a small group. It can happen in so many different ways, but we need to be able to answer basic questions about who Jesus is. What is salvation? Why was the cross necessary? How does that impact our lives? Just basic core fundamental beliefs, but not just knowing the answer, how we help somebody understand why this is best. This is the faith that I'm holding to, and why. Because if all they've ever known is another religion, that's all they know. And so, I mean, also, these conversations aren't necessarily like, I'm going to, convert you. But if I'm going to plant and water seeds, then I need to know how to plant and water seeds.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Well, and it's such an important conversation that gets brushed over often. Maybe often's a strong word, but I think there's a lot of people who, and I certainly am, we have our kids in Christian school. We live, in the Bible Belt. We're surrounded by Christian people a lot of the places we go, and it can become a situation where we get kind of, I don't know if dull is the right word, but when we did Barn Fest years ago and had decision counselor training, that reminds me of this because I was sitting there, when you're really in a situation where you're put on the spot, and it's okay, are you prepared to have this conversation? I'm really quick to be like, well, yeah, sure, but then when you're sitting in, okay, we'll have the conversation. Then you're thinking, well, what do I say?
Right.
And how do I react?
Or even where to start.
Where do I begin?
Like if somebody's sitting across from you and they don't have any religious background, then like, where do you even start with that? And again, it's just, we've got to have the head knowledge, but we just need to be able to speak another person's language so that they aren't intimidated or don't understand or turned off by all these words that you're using. Like, that's not helpful at all.
It's relational.
Yes.
Gotta be relational.
Yes.
Well, and as part of that training we did years ago for that, reading the Gospel of John, just with that in mind, just reading it, just, how do I love people well and how do I love them in a way that points them to Jesus? That's when that gospel really became just so beautiful to my heart, because I was needing it, to understand it and not, that makes it sound like I'm trying to achieve the perfect way to have the conversation.
Angela the Achiever.
Here we go.
But, it's going to start with you. It's going to start with your relationship.
And so, where is my heart?
And even if you don't have all the, you feel like you don't have all the mechanics of how to have the conversation, like maybe I don't understand repentance and I can't speak into that, and let me just go ahead and say, let's not use that word. People don't understand, they don't understand the big Christian words. But it does need to start with your own personal journey. You have to be able to articulate your own journey, not like something that happened 5 years ago, but this is who the Lord was to me then and is to me now. And that is just like the nicest place to start, that if you get overwhelmed and afraid of, oh my gosh, I've got to understand his birth, his life, his
hermeneutics.
Death. Yeah, I've got to understand all that. No, you might get there at some point, but just, talk with them about who he is to you and why you pursue this Christian faith.
Jesus saw them and connected with them in all these stories, and it really is as simple as that.
I think, go back to how many times we've had conversations where people are uncomfortable to pray. Like that, if we have to do more of that, we have to teach people, help people, push people into places where they can pray out loud, because then I have to wonder, if you can't do that, are you comfortable talking to somebody else about your faith? and especially an unbeliever who has no context of Christianity.
Right.
They're just, and I don't know what's being done, so I'm not criticizing anything. I'm just questioning. I'm just asking, what are we doing that equip, and not just young people, all people, all of us.
Well, we don't want to miss, God has us on earth for a purpose.
Right.
And what if our purpose is to have a conversation that we're not even, we've not prepared our hearts and ourselves to have the conversation.
Right.
Not that he can't still work through other people, but I don't want to miss what he has for me.
Yeah.
And these opportunities. It's such a sweet spot to be in.
Well, and you and I have talked about for years, I think a great place that we began to learn how to do this is when we would just talk through our condition of our own heart, like what's going on, how are you feeling, what's your relationship like with the Lord, and we have to be able to do that. And again, I've said 1,000 times, if I were to ask you, Angela, what's the Lord teaching you, or what's going on in your heart right now, and you just got nothing, well, that's fine. You're being honest about it. And so we just need to be able to do some self-reflection and not put it all in a separate compartment. It's for us. This is our walk. This is our journey with the Lord. It's our honest story with the Lord. And so I did that with the volleyball girls on Wednesday, or a couple weeks ago when Angela wasn't there. And so just giving them space, showing them space that you can do this, that you can answer that question, what's going on in your heart? How do you feel right now? We need to be able to do that. And it's hard and scary to expose that part of yourself. It's easy to answer the question when everything's great.
Well, I loved hearing the Voxer that you sent me after that Bible study, because so many beautiful things happen in that space just because, you gave them space to be vulnerable, and you went first by saying, here's how we do this. And then those girls were brave enough to step into that. But I want you to just kind of talk us through, because it was Psalm 131. Just kind of give us the whole backstory, because y'all had been in that psalm the night before in Bible study. It's so beautiful how the Lord just connects all the dots.
So glad that He
lays
that.
The groundwork.
Yeah. So on Tuesday nights, it's over, but on Tuesday nights I've co-led a Bible study at church, and we had just been in Psalm 139. And Psalm 139 is, I wish that I could read the whole thing to you, but it's long and I'm not going to. But it's a beautiful, beautiful psalm. It's very familiar to a lot of you. And when you break that psalm down into sections, the first, and I'm going to just briefly tell you what those are, the outline of the psalm. The first few verses are the Lord, He knows us. He knows me. The second set of verses are that you are with me. The third set of verses are you made me. And the final set of verses are, I'm for you. And so I had just been in there reading that, and I'm trying to find it in my workbook, but the final verses, where is it, Angela? Do you happen to have a Bible? No.
I can pull one up.
Where we're asking the Lord to test us and know us and test our anxious hearts and find anything anything that is offensive in me, find it. And that's
scary.
It is scary.
And that's like surgery.
It is. And that's, to me, is just so important, because we have to be willing to let Him go into the places of our heart like that. And so that is what in turn led us to this conversation with the team, the volleyball girls, was this is scriptural. We're supposed to be asking the Lord to examine and search our heart, and we cannot be afraid of it. And so anyway, just letting them see. And one of the girls, she just opened up and she just got emotional, because it wasn't what she was saying was sad. It's just that she was letting her heart be exposed for a second.
That is terrifying.
It's terrifying. And I was so unbelievably proud of her that she was willing to do that. But I'm telling you, this is all so valuable and so rich and so important, because we can't just put Jesus over here in a, this is what I study and I have all the head knowledge in the world, or but I don't let him into my heart. Like, we have to let him go there, and then we have to be able to share with other people what's going on and why he is so important to me. And it just starts with a daily walk. There's so much going on here, but again, I found the timing of it just really sweet on the heels of Go Trip preparation, of asking the girls to be open and honest about where they are and just how they're feeling.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's something that is helpful every single day.
Yeah.
To become a discipline or a practice for all of us.
Yeah.
Psalm 139, 23 and 24.
Yes.
In the Amplified says, "Search me thoroughly, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts, and see if there is any wicked or hurtful way in me, and lead me in the everlasting way." So as I'm thinking about, the Lord searching us and testing us and knowing our anxious thoughts, knowing where we have all this great need for him. And then we talked in the last episode about this Jenny Allen book, about untangling our emotions. This is I'm so excited about how all this is coming together and what we together with the listeners are about to step into to grow in this area.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Well, and two, I don't want to spend a ton of time here. I'm just going to say this really quick, is that in another group setting in the Bible study, we were talking about how the ability to articulate who Jesus is, our relationship to him, and how hard this is getting to be very difficult in our time culturally, because everybody's offended. You're going to offend somebody. You're going to be talked about because you are willing to open up your mouth, to be courageous and speak of the Lord. And so I think I know the devil, he is just going to use the fear and the inability to communicate well to shut us down.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about it. So as an adult, it's scary because you could get into a debate with people, and we don't need to be doing that online. But you can, if you're just not confident or equipped or even just soft and tender to who the Lord is and what he's doing in your life, it's not going to happen because culturally you're set up to be just beaten up. And therefore you're already afraid.
That's true. And our fears, our insecurities, our, I'm not smart enough. I don't know enough. I've not read my Bible today. I'm not prepared to have this conversation. We overthink it.
And just have a person get you an Angela Snyder that you can start to have these hard, honest, challenging, but also full of hope and encouragement and excitement about who the Lord is and what he's doing.
Love God, love people.
Yes.
We make it so much harder than it has to be.
Yeah.
That all reminded me too of Jeremiah 29:13. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart.
That was one of my memory verses. Start memorizing scripture. I'm happy to help you do that. I pick a new verse every 2 weeks. And so that is just another discipline, of very easy practice for you to just have his word on your heart, to where you just feel a little bit more equipped, a little bit more emboldened in your faith.
Have you seen that play out already, just since you picked that back up?
Oh, for sure. Oh, absolutely. Yes. So I highly recommend the discipline. And if you want to start it, I can give you all kinds of tidbits on how to do this, because it's for a year. It's not just for a short time. It's for a year. And it gets harder as time goes on, because you're adding verses to your spiral. And so it gets to be more challenging. But that's where the Lord wants us. He wants us to grow. He wants us to be challenged. He doesn't want us sitting in the shallow end. He wants us to be in the deep end. And in that deep end will come some struggle and, oh my gosh, I need a life preserver and I'm tired and I'm drowning. Where's the relief? Like, it's not going to be easy, but oh my gosh, is that life with him so much better and worth it? He is worth it.
It comes with a cost.
Yes.
And if it doesn't, if it feels easy,
right,
we're probably not doing it
That's right.
Let's be honest.
Right.
Okay, so what's your verse right now?
Well, I haven't picked it yet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I always love to see where the Lord leads you.
And this is where I get into a struggle because I'm usually a couple of days behind where I need to be on the calendar because I just sit in it. Like, I don't want to just pick a verse for the sake of picking randomly. A verse. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of have to, like, think about what's going on. Where do I need to feel empowered?
What's the last one that you did?
I've done, I wish I had my spiral in front of me because I'm going to forget. I've done Joshua 1:9. I've done Jeremiah 29:13. The third one I'm completely drawing a blank on because I'm on the spot, but
sorry.
That's okay.
I love that you're doing this, though. It's not something that I've made a commitment to do, but I want to. I
don't know the address right now. Oh, it's Colossians 2:7. If you want to look it up, it's coming back to me. Colossians 2:7.
On it.
Being rooted. Oh no, I'm going to say the wrong verse because I've had that verse in my mind. But I chose it for the volleyball team.
And I love that.
And I read it. Look up the NIV. Are you on your phone? Look it up on the NIV. Because I thought about them, and that's why I chose the verse. Anyway, when Angela gets to it, she's going to read it.
That's just such a sweet example of how this is part of the conversation. Like, as we are having a conversation with these girls and pointing them to Jesus, we're able to pull in.
Yeah, and I can
point them to Scripture.
And I told them that I'm praying this over you. I'm praying this over my children. I mean, this is a rich verse. So it says that we want to be rooted and built up in Him, strengthened in the faith as you were taught.
Ooh.
And overflowing with thankfulness. We want to be rooted and built up in Him, strengthened in the faith that you were taught, and overflowing with thankfulness, with gratitude. I just loved it, and I intentionally picked that out for them. So.
Well, and with them, we've talked and we ask them every week, what do you need to tear down and what do you need to build up within yourself, your relationship with the Lord, within the context of the team and the people in that room. And this verse is beautiful.
Yeah.
Speaking into that.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to kind of recap what we've talked about. Pray. These are great things to pray. They're scary things to pray. They will expose and reveal things in you, but that's the whole point, is to grow and to learn and to turn away from anything that the Lord's exposing. And Lent is the perfect season to reflect.
I don't do anything with Lent. I've forgotten about it. Isn't that terrible to say?
No, I think that's honest. I mean, I think I'm kind of in the same boat, but, it's still Lent.
I'm not in conversations. I'm not in traditions where it's happening, where I hear it. And so if you didn't challenge me to give up something for Lent, I'm like, okay, like I forgot.
When I grew up Catholic, look, we give up broccoli. We were that sacrificial in second grade. We were like, ooh, what can I give up? And then I got a little more mature. One year I gave up chocolate, and I thought my Easter basket was nothing but chocolate. I never thought Easter would arrive.
Yeah.
But okay, so the prayers we're going to pray is for the Lord to reveal. What was it in Psalm 139? I need to pull that back up.
Just to test our anxious hearts, to reveal anything in us that's offensive to Him. Just look at the sin, look at your life. Don't be afraid to examine it. And I've told people over and over, the best way to do that is, whether you're just reflecting at the end of the day, where was I offensive? Where was the sin today? What's the condition of my heart? Or to jot it down in a journal so that you can see patterns. Otherwise, you'll just move on too quickly and not really address, I see something here.
And the scariest times that I've prayed this prayer, scary in a good way, but like going into the prayer, I was like, nothing really comes to mind. Not that I think I'm perfect, but sometimes you're just really like, okay, I'm trying to get in that headspace of, Lord, show me what I need to work on. And then it's like getting walloped with a 2x4, just like, oh my God, like the heaviness of it when the Lord shows you something. But it's such a beautiful moment because He is with us in that.
Yeah.
It's not to shame us, to condemn us, to write us off forever.
Right.
He is wanting to call us up and not out, like we talk about. And it's just such a beautiful thing.
And if you go back to Psalm 139 and that outline that I gave you, He knew us. He made us in our mother's womb. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. We are knit by Him. He knows us. He already knows.
That's hard to comprehend.
And we don't need to be afraid of that. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. He is for us, and it is okay for him to search our heart. That's the relationship piece. It is not to, judge us and to condemn us. And, there's going to be some conviction there. But it's only because he's for us.
And drawing us closer.
Yes.
To be fully known.
Yes.
And fully loved.
Yes.
The way that he loves us.
And to live from that place.
Yeah.
And not be timid, not be in the shallow end, because we trust him. Why? I said to a student this week, we were having a hard conversation about something, and I'm like, listen, he died on the cross for you. Aren't we going to trust him?
So good.
Why would we not? But we just, we're humans, and we get all caught up in all manner of things, and we just forget some of the just basic foundations, and that shouldn't be scary to us.
And then we worry about our kids, and then we think, well, hold on, I can talk to the Lord who loves them even more than I do. That's like the second part of that for me, is just, who do I think I am? That dependent word that I'm sitting in this year. Be dependent. So we want to pray for him to test us, search us, reveal any offensive or anxiousness in us, so we can bring that to him. And then, just questions. What's the condition of my heart right now? And how am I growing? Am I growing? Who's helping me grow? Those are just such sweet conversation starters if you just want to get with a friend or somebody in your house or whoever. But it's such a good thing to do that together with somebody.
And I promise you, if you're doing that, it'll make those gospel conversations and praying out loud a whole lot easier, because you have such an awareness of your relationship with the Lord that it's not, you don't have to know all the answers. It's just overflowing, just like Colossians 2:7 tells us. It's coming from a place of gratitude, because you are rooted and built up and strengthened in the faith that you've been taught. And so it's just going to come out of you. It doesn't have to be some formula. Anyway.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay.
All right.
Well, next week we will not have a podcast release because of spring break, but we are doing a giveaway with Hello Grace. So y'all be looking at social media for giveaway details. Fran, have so much fun on your Go trip.
Listen, I'll tell y'all all about it.
When Fran gets back, we'll have a whole big episode recapping all the things. Is it a group of Union students?
Yes,
so Go trips are
Union.
here. So good.
So there's, I don't know, 8 students maybe, and the 2 of us. So
much fun.
We drive down there and spend several days with Send Relief, is the organization that we are partnering with, and then we'll come back and our lives will be changed. And I cannot wait to see how the Lord moves, especially in these student lives, but ours too, of course.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Have a fantastic week. Thanks so much for listening, you guys. We deeply appreciate you. We love you. We think about you often. I mean, these conversations are really with you in mind, and you are definitely a part of the greater conversation that we are having outside of the podcast recording. All right, have a wonderful rest of your week. And of course, if you would love for Angela and I to come and speak to your ministry, your organization, your team, we would love to do that. Just let us know. Okay, we love you guys. We'll see you next time.